No, that's not going to fall.
Hiya! Welcome to another WWE pay-per-view preview panel show. Lots of P's, just like Jason's prostrate problem.
I'll tell you something later.
There we are. Less than 30 seconds in and already a laboratorial joke. Wonderful, wonderful. So thank you to all those who may come in throughout the evening and who may watch the replay. Much appreciated. As you know, I'm Jimmy Barnes. This is my channel, so I need little or no introduction. We are missing a panelist at the moment, the Night Owl Victoria. She's had to nip out for a while, but she will hopefully be able to join us at some point during the course of the evening. But she sends her apologies. In the meantime, you're going to have to put up with me and also my co-panelists, Rach Kappa. Hi, Rach.
Hi, Jimmy. Hi, Jason.
And, of course, not suitable for mum, a.k.a. Jason Clow. Hello, Jace.
Howdy doody.
How are you, Jace? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Doing all right. Raring to go. G'd up.
We've got our first person in the chat, and it is Lee the Pop-Tart. Lee did say to me earlier on that he might try and come in for a few minutes.
Okay.
Thank you, Lee. Appreciate that, mate.
I will bring that up, actually.
Yes, I probably should have asked you before we came live, but it doesn't matter. Rachel's got her chat up anyway, and I've got mine. So. But yeah, thank you for coming in, Lee. Hope you're having a nice evening. I don't know if you're going to be watching Super Showdown tomorrow, but we will be discussing that later on. But we've got some other business to attend to first. The first order of business that I would like to attend to is the important matter of the Money in the Bank prediction results. Jason, we've been on tenterhooks for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah. Well,
how did we do?
We didn't do that well, to be honest with you. Let me have a look. How many matches do we have? I'm just looking at my list a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 matches. Okay. So I won't go into too much about who won what and all the rest of it, unless you want me to, of course. But Jimmy, you got 5 correct.
As many as that, I didn't think I'd done very well at all. 5. I'm really happy with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I got 5.
Well done.
Vicky, bless her, she got 2.
Oh.
Yeah. And our winner overall was Rachel with 6.
Wow.
No, I didn't think I did that well.
Yeah, no, you did. You did well.
Excellent. Rachel is our Money in the Bank prediction winner.
I'm just trying to see.
I think I won WrestleMania, and I can't remember who won Fastlane, and we're going to see.
I can tell you. Bear with me. I have a spreadsheet all organised. So Fastlane, Mania was, well, you won that one. You got 10, and Rach won Fastlane as well.
Wow!
With 8.
It's kind of 2 to my 1 this year, then. Excellent.
Yeah. I can give you the average scores as well if you like.
Oh yeah, an average leaderboard update.
Right.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Well, Jimmy, you're on 7.
Okay.
Right. I've got 6. Vicky has 5. And Rachel has 7.
Oh, jointly.
So it's all quite close, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
There you go. I was just trying to see which one it was that Rachel sort of pipped us at above anything else.
Well, while you're looking, I'm just going to look at the chat because I've seen Big Inzy come in.
Hey.
Thank you for coming in. I'm not sure Rich is particularly a wrestling fan, but it's always nice to see a familiar face. Pop-Tart has said, you're assuming no one's predicted Lesnar because that's obviously a stupid decision made by some very stupid people. Oh, yeah, in the men's Money in the Bank match.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in hindsight, you can look at it and think, well, yeah, really, we should have seen this coming. But, it is what it is. I know, certainly Jason, I know, has got some strong feelings about it. I'm a little more sort of easy come, easy go regarding the whole Lesnar thing. I don't like the fact that he was a Universal Champion and a WWE Champion who was absent for most of the time because it
that annoys the
devalued
crap out of me.
And but I do understand, much as I don't want to get inside Vince McMahon's head, I do kind of understand his obsession with Brock Lesnar. He sees him as this sort of box office mega attraction, and maybe I think that's diminishing for one reason or another. But he probably shouldn't have won Money in the Bank. No. Especially like that, where he kind of just inserted himself in the match. But this is WWE in 2019. It's run by a 75-year-old man who's massively out of touch.
He's going to see now
again later.
I think he's lost his marbles.
He took some insane bumps in that match.
Yeah.
At one point, he flipped up in the air, wasn't he, and landed hard on a ladder.
Oh God, yeah, I remember that spot. Yeah, bloody hell. Yeah. Lesnar wasn't in the match. Oh, you're gonna be the surprise entrant next year, are you, Pop-Tart? Oh, excellent. Yeah, F1, make your predictions. Pop-Tart to win the 2020 Money in the Bank match.
Oh, sorry. In that case, I'm entering.
Finally, a main event.
I'll go for the women's. Women's match.
I'll just run between everybody else's legs and climb up the ladder when they're not looking. Right, okay. Anyway, yeah, that's the scores there.
So
there we go.
Me and Rach joint leaders, but Rach won the Money in the Bank predictions. Yeah. So
it was the Charlotte versus Becky match that Rach picked up on. She called that one. We didn't.
Well, okay. Charlotte. I said Charlotte to win.
Good call, Ray.
There you go. So that's that. I can get rid of that bit of paper now.
Pop-Tart spandex. Oh, yeah. Macho Man there. But...
Oh, that video.
What I would like to talk about tonight, which is kind of a departure, a sort of departure from what we normally talk about. We are going to do the Super Showdown predictions, but I want to talk more about other wrestling, not necessarily WWE wrestling, although NXT, of course, is WWE for all intents and purposes. But there has been some absolutely amazing wrestling shows, pay-per-views, and really, great events just in the last couple of weeks, really, just in between Money in the Bank and tomorrow, really. And I think the big one, the elephant in the room, but the nice elephant in the nice room, is All Elite Wrestling's Double or Nothing.
Yay!
And I'm pretty sure we all watched that. Rach, I'm going to go to you first. Double or Nothing, thumbs up, thumbs in the middle, thumbs down.
I absolutely loved it. I loved all the matches. I loved the particular bit when MJF came out to trash talk Hammond Page and Bret Hart, and then right behind him, Jungle Boy came out and Jimmy Havoc came out, and they scared him off.
Yeah,
I have actually seen the match between Jimmy Havoc and MJF, which was quite an insane match. But I did love that bit, and I loved the Battle Royal when, especially when Tommy Dreamer got a staple up his backside.
Oh, Pop-Tart's got to go.
Okay, thank you, Lee. Thank you, Pop-Tart. I was just typing him a message, but I don't know if he's gone already. Sorry, carry on, Rach. There's a lot we can talk about with it.
I just really loved it.
Yeah. Jason, I'm assuming you're thinking along similar lines in what an awesome show it was.
Very much so.
I don't think you saw it live, but I'm not that
No, I didn't. No.
Watching it live did feel, you felt like you were part of something, the start of something really special. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. I mean, even
felt like that to an extent for you, even watching it.
Yeah, because it was,
it was just a great show from from start to finish. So if you've got any particular standout matches or moments,
well, it was something new, right? Because you know, and you had, I think quite a nice mix of guys that we did know, you know, who had been in WWE and got dissatisfied with it or whatever. Yeah. You had guys that I hadn't seen before, or guys that I kind of knew, but not really seen wrestle very much, been on the independents for quite a long time. Yeah. I did like the Cody versus Dustin match. I thought that's one of the best matches that Dustin Rhodes has had in years.
I totally agree. That was
right.
I mean, you know, if you need proof that a wrestling match can, you know, be that, you know, like how, you know, be quite emotional.
Yeah.
Because people, you know, they've got this sort of prejudiced or stereotypical view of wrestling. Oh, it's just like it's a male soap opera, or it's just guys in spandex, you know, pretending to hit each other. But that that match and everything about it felt, you know, just like really sort of emotionally charged for me.
It felt organic. It felt natural, like it should have happened.
Yeah, it did.
Right. I thought perhaps
I was looking forward to particularly either. And then after it had finished, I was like, oh God, you know, that was, you know, wow.
Yeah.
You
know. The bloodletting perhaps was a little bit OTT because he was leaking like a bloody faucet at one point. I'm assuming he did blading. I don't know. But you know, it was. Yeah, I mean that was a little bit unnecessary, but I'm glad that they had some blood. And the reason why I say that is because you get so many of these matches, and the people get the absolute shit kicked out of them effectively.
Yeah.
And we've not got a single cut or a graze or anything. You know, we've been blooming speared ourselves into the steel cage, and we've not got a mark on us. It's silly. You know, kids are going to think, oh, I can do that. I'll be absolutely fine in the morning. Not a problem. No, you're going to bugger yourself over if you try that. You know, so it was a little bit more realism. And again, it wasn't just aimed at kids, which is what WWE's got into a really bad situation of doing, is aiming it at kids.
Well, I mean, that's the trouble. I mean, WWE is sort of, you know, it's a PG-rated product, but it's been micromanaged by this, you know, 75-year-old man who has kind of got this, it's sort of this kind of schizophrenic kind of dilemma in his head where he's got to keep it PG to appease his sponsors and all the advertisers and his networks and all the rest of it, but he's a guy who we know likes smut and he likes toilet jokes, which I'll hold my hands up. I do enjoy the occasional toilet joke. I managed to get but I'm not the one running World Wrestling Entertainment.
Exactly.
So, you know, and if I was, I would probably, you know, save the toilet jokes for maybe a very special occasion and not sort of, you know, have Drake Maverick pick pants like and too often things like that. But anyway, but WWE is. I mean, we ought to probably do a whole show just talking about the current state of WWE because I think Crisis might be a little bit over egging it because Crisis sounds like they're about to go under, but they've had a lot of bad PR lately with the you know, Saudi Arabia. I mean, that bad PR has been going on for, you know, almost a year really. And then with people either leaving or publicly coming out saying, I want to leave. I mean, I was watching a video the other day, a massive list of pretty big names, all of whom have said publicly in some fashion, oh, I want to leave this company as soon as my contract's up, as soon as I can. You know, and, you know, and to me, that's, you know, it's kind of a crisis really, but, you know, Vince McMahon, if you asked him right now, we'd say crisis, what crisis?
Yeah.
You know,
Anyway,
never mind that raw TV ratings are the lowest apparently they've ever been.
I haven't
SmackDown,
watched
I think,
it.
is pretty awful as well.
Without wishing to
Serious show.
without wishing to stop your rant, mate, should we get back on topic? Far bit for me to say.
Here.
Exactly, but yeah, that's the thing.
We could talk about other things besides Super Showdown. I know I've gone off on a bit of a tangent.
No. We've been talking about AEW.
Right. Yeah, and I will get. I haven't forgotten, and I will get back to Double or Nothing very shortly because
okay.
I want to talk about what. I just wanted to make the point that, and I think it ties in with AEW because AEW forming and coming to the forefront in such an amazing way has shone a light even more on the problems within WWE. It's all
I would agree.
Now there's somewhere for these underutilized guys and these fed up guys and girls as well, like people like Sasha Banks. There's somewhere else for them to go in America. That's a big place. It's not like knockoff WWE like TNA used to be. It's not like Ring of Honor, which has had its ups and downs, and it's fine, but you're never going to earn a fortune from working somewhere like that. This is somewhere where you can earn good money, and they've got a national TV deal starting in the autumn. And I can't. And as for Double or Nothing, I will get back on point. Wow, what a show! Even the pre-show, I was like just hyped just for that. Really, some parts of it was stupid, the battle royal, but it made me smile. It was fun, and really at the end of the day, if you're into an entertainment format, it's got to be fun for you, and it was fun to watch. Seeing. Was it Joey Janela? He got his cigarette stapled to his forehead.
I think that was probably Dreamer that done that.
And it was.
I have to go back and watch that because only saw bits of it and that battle royale. But it sounds like it was fun.
I should have said to you you ought to watch the pre-show as well, because the pre-show with the casino battle royale. And it was. It was crackers, but it was a lot of fun. That guy, I'm not sure of his name, Dustin somebody, I think, but the guy with no legs. So, I know Jim Cornette's had some things to say about Double or Nothing, some of which haven't been particularly complimentary, but all in all, I could find very little, if anything, that I really disliked about it. I thought. Actually, one thing I didn't particularly rate was one of the announcers. I think his name's Alex Marvez or Marvez, something like that. I thought he was kind of poor, but he may have been nervous, and it was a big night, and he might be someone who might grow into the role. And he wasn't like the commentator once JR had come on for the pay-per-view because he wasn't on the.
That's it, yeah.
And I've forgotten his name. The masked guy who was
Excalibur.
Excalibur. Yeah, I remember him from commentating on All In, and he was good on that, and he was great on Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
And Jim Ross. I think Jim Ross. It took him a little while for him to find his feet commentary wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He certainly by the main event, it felt like the JR of old. You know what I mean?
He did. He's probably out of practice, if anything.
Yeah, and he wouldn't have had the sort of manic direction in his earpiece
like what to say.
People in WWE. I mean, you can tell when Michael Cole and people had sat there and they're spouting these weird sort of obviously scripted lines. You can tell it's like, they're not saying what they're thinking. They're being told what to say.
Well, Mick Foley said back when he was doing commentary that basically Vince was in his ear all the time, effing and blinding every last other word. It's like, let me do my job.
Yeah, how can you do a decent job of work when you've got like some bloody raving lunatic in your ear all the time? That's why I'm always reluctant to work with you, jeez.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go then.
Ben, it's actually, if I know someone called Foul Originals, a Periscope who does similar live streaming wrestling content. I don't actually, Ben. No, I'm not familiar with him. But if you can give me a link or something, I will check him out. Yeah, Double or Nothing. Favorite match. I think just for like the fact I was looking forward to it for so long. I think Jericho Omega 2, simply because I've just was hyped for that from day one, and having Moxley make his debut, and we'll talk a little bit more about John Moxley in a little bit. You know, what an end to the show. Cody versus Dustin. That, I admit, that wasn't a match that I was massively excited about.
No,
I was really surprised about that match.
Yeah, it turned out to be absolutely just wow. Just run the gamut of emotions, really, just throughout that. Cody's entrance, where he demolished that.
That was silly.
I mean, as kind of sort of a message to Triple H.
It was.
It's kind of a little bit sort of, you know, like on the nose, but again.
Yeah.
Yeah, on
the nose, yeah.
I'm trying to think any other things that I took from Double or Nothing that I want to make a mention of. I think MJF, I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. He looks, I think a lot of people have had him down as kind of a sort of pound shop Miz, but I think he's more than that. I think, you know, he's someone who can generate real proper good heel heat. And I think potential.
He's already annoyed.
A potential future world champion. Go on, Jake.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they ever come into AEW, right, and we get to see him live, and he comes on, Pound Shop Miz. Pound Shop Miz.
Oh, I can see that catching on.
Yeah.
That would be brilliant.
I'd actually think, I mean, that, just to chant at a really annoying heel, yeah, it's fine, but I don't really believe that, even though kind of that's been sort of the trail of thought. As for set up for the first world title match, well, we know Jericho beat Omega in the main event, and Adam Page won the Casino Battle Royale. I'm a little bit familiar with Hangman. I've seen bits of him in New Japan. He looks, you know, that sort of main event level. I'm not going to go down the route just yet of saying who I'd like to see the first AEW champion, Jericho or Page. It's too early for me to really make a opinion on that. But yeah, we know it's going to be Jericho versus Page at. I think they're saving that title match till All Out. I don't think it's coming before then.
No, it's All Out. It's on All Out.
Months or so to wait. But yeah, Double or Nothing. Wow, it's just got me even more hyped for All Elite Wrestling than before. What a way to debut. That's all I can say about AEW. Yes, loved it. I think unanimously we all thought that was a fantastic event there, and I'm so glad I bought it. First, like, official literal pay-per-view I've got in many years there. Events, you can't really call them pay-per-views anymore. But
I would even go so far as to say, right, that the Young Bucks weren't as annoying as they can be.
No, I know what you mean.
They weren't super kicking left, right, and centre
before. Yeah, and
I think they only did 5.
It's another great match, actually. I'm glad you reminded me about Young Bucks.
Match I've ever seen of them. I've never actually seen any of their other matches. That match that was on Double or Nothing, it was actually my very first match I've ever seen of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I remember them back in TNA as Generation Me, you see.
Yeah.
And they showed promise. They've always shown promise. I always thought they were talented guys, but very arrogant, and always doing the bloody super kick.
The Lucha Brothers are great. Pentagon and
they are.
Phoenix. I think they could take a couple of broom handles to a 5-star match, really. And obviously the Young Bucks, like this the kind of flippy shit kind of stigma with them that people like to perpetuate. And to an extent, I do understand why people like Cornette aren't particularly fans, but it just all came together on that night for me.
Yeah, I think they had the right two teams.
The crowd atmosphere was great, and another thing I love about AEW, and this is something that probably wasn't as noticeable during the event, but like when you look at them on social media, they're really trying to do away with kind of these sort of stereotypes of prejudice.
Yeah,
they're saying like all elite is for everyone. We don't care what your sexual orientation is.
Yeah.
What you class yourself as gender-wise. If you're a good person, you are welcome here, and that is something you'd never hear from WWE. I mean, and also, I mean, I don't really know what it means. I think, but apparently, Double or Nothing was the world's first sensory-aware pay-per-view.
It's for the people that have autism or different disabilities have like motion when someone like in a crowded place they can't cope. So it's just like they have special areas where they can go.
It was right. Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah. People with autism, they had like noise defenders, special lanyards that they wear just to show they got one of them autism.
That's really, really amazing to me. My eldest daughter is autistic, and I mean, I'm not going to go on too much because it's going way off topic. And although I'm waiting for a diagnosis, I mean, there's a chance I'm on the. In fact, I think it's pretty obvious I'm on the spectrum. But anyway, my daughter would be one of, if she was there, she would be one of these people who would need her ear defenders. And when they would talk about this being the first sensory-aware pay-per-view, I knew it was like something for people on the autistic spectrum and other kind of emotional related disabilities. But I wasn't. But until Rachel mentioned like the actual things that they were doing there, I didn't actually realise it. And that. To have like sort of, quiet areas and ear defenders and sort of special lanyards so that people could, check on you and stuff. I think that's not a word I use when talking about wrestling much, but I think that's lovely. I really do. And, from day one, All Elite Wrestling are just doing things different, like, for the, in that respect, and that's. Wow, that's just little things like that. Well, it's not little to some people, but just totally changing the game, but not into an extent where it's going to alienate people. It's to make it to be more inclusive.
I think in a way they're opening it up and they're saying, look, you don't have to necessarily be a major wrestling fan to enjoy our show. Yeah, come and have a look, see what we can do. Yeah, we're brand new. We haven't got any of the crap really that WWE have got.
They've not got baggage.
We're not trying to appeal to one set demographic. Like you said, they're saying All Elite Wrestling is for everybody, and that's not just the wrestlers. That's the viewing public.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing to me that a wrestling company can be so forward thinking and be so inclusive to everybody, and I think that's marvelous, and that's and WWE are going to be playing catch up in that respect because. Yeah, they've sort of made sort of superficial sort of changes, like, there's not as much hazing going on in locker rooms now, or we support this Be a Star anti-bullying campaign. A lot of it feels like sort of PR to me for them, whereas with AEW, it feels like genuine, you know what I mean?
Wasn't there, I can't remember who did it, it might have even been Seth, and he said, you know, oh, about this was a promo, but he said, oh, you know, we're all about like anti-bullying campaigns. Yet Vince, you're the biggest bully out.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
from what I hear, the way that he treats people, yes.
Yeah. And he seems to have got worse with age. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's always been a little bit of a tyrant, but just as he's got older, and I think he's felt he's needed to, you know, at his age, he needs to either, you know, retire or just have even more of a stranglehold on everything. And unfortunately, he's gone with the latter. You know, is like micromanaging.
It's
more
mine, my precious.
Yeah. I mean, we talked a lot about AEW. I mean, I think we perhaps ought to have a special AEW preview show ready for All Out. I mean, that's something to
I would like that. I would like that.
You know, and also take over Cardiff's on the same day, so maybe we can double up, or maybe we'll just do one, and we'll see. That's not till August. We can sort all that out nearer the time. But I am really seeing a bright future for AEW, and I wish them all the best. We'll move on to another good wrestling show. I don't think it was quite on the level of Double or Nothing, but it was still a very good show, as all of their shows have been really since day one. And that was Takeover 25, which was only last Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think we've all seen that. Well, Takeover 25. Rach, what did you reckon to NXT Takeover last Saturday?
I really liked it. I said, I'm still not. I don't know what it is about him. I just not feeling a connection with him. Velveteen Dream. I just don't know.
I mean, people like who they like, so you know, you don't. You know, it is what it is. You know, it was originally intended to be a heel and kind of like, you know, heat. You know, like a real heat seeker. So you know, like he's in that respect. You know, his old sort of. Well, he's not really changed his character, really. He's just a babyface by default more than anything. But, you know, in the respect to you, Rach, is, you know, he's doing his job, I suppose.
Yeah. But I thought Tyler Breeze was awesome in it.
Yeah.
I loved the Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole match.
Do you think the right person won in that match?
I think so. I think they're planning to move Gargano up.
You know what? Every time I hear about call-ups now, it just fills me with dread.
It does.
Isn't that a sorry state of affairs, though, when, like, you know, like you're really into the developmental. I don't like calling it developmental anymore, because to me, it's the best brand in WWE. But for all intents and purposes, that's what it is. And it's just really sort of saddening to me when, as soon as you hear about, some certain NXT call-ups are planned or about to be announced, it's like, oh, God, all these guys and girls are going to get buried, aren't they?
Well, to illustrate the very point, right? Tyler Breeze goes up, they do naffle with him. Right, he goes back to which was amusing,
but it's like it's not really, you know, it's not
utilising him to his full extent
to sustain a long career, you know,
right. But you put him back in NXT, Again, regardless of how you feel about Velveteen Dream, I think the guy has got talent.
He's over.
He's over. So it wasn't like just let's bring Tyler Breeze back and throw away match. It was something important. It's for the title, And he put on between them they put on a damn good match. So it's showing that it's not Tyler that's the issue. It's the main roster that's the issue and how to utilize him.
Well, yeah. This is isn't it? You know, it's like. You know, like you're calling up all these people and doing jack shit with them. You know, that's, you know, pardon my language. But,
it's true.
Yeah. It's so, and this is why more and more people are coming out saying, "Oh, as soon as my contract's up, I'm out of here." You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the sort of prisoner counting down the days to his release, isn't it? You know,
Well, that's what Dustin said. It was like,
I'll get parole in a month. Oh
Yeah.
God, like another tick on the wall. You know, one more day and then I'm gone. I mean, we know from anyone who's listened to the John Moxley Jericho podcast will know. I mean, I think that was actually the analogy Moxley made. It was like, yeah, it feels like I'm in prison. I'm just checking off each day, really.
Yeah. Well, Dustin said exactly the same thing.
Yeah. And so, yeah, Takeover 25. So, Rach enjoyed it. Jason, I think you watched that. The fact as well.
Very good. I really liked the tag team ladder match. I thought it was really well done, and it wasn't quite there, but I had vague sort of nostalgic feelings going back to TLC.
Yeah.
Right, or the ladder match between when you had the Dudleys, the Hardys, Edge and Christian. It had that kind of feel, not quite, but almost had that kind of feel about it. Right, they were putting on a proper display of proper tag team wrestling, and you could forget that it was a ladder match. Even they were doing some great spots. They was telling a story. Yeah. There was a lot of backwards and forwards between all the different teams, and it just made for a fun match.
Yeah.
And I think all of the teams in there. I don't think there was a bad team amongst them.
No.
So,
do you think the right team won?
My issue is that I've not been watching a lot of NXT lately. Right, I'm trying to get back into it now. So I don't really know that much about the Street Profits. Who were the four teams? Who were the four teams? Just going back.
Street Profits, Forgotten Sons, Undisputed Era,
and then whatever. Oni Logan and Birch. I can't remember their name.
Oh yeah, Oni Logan and Danny Birch. Yeah.
See, they're showing promise. But I think probably the right team probably did win. I think they're waiting on Undisputed now that spoilers, everyone. Now that the title is in the hand of Undisputed, I think we're going to sort of see that prophecy that they're on about, coming to fruition later on. I think that's what they're building for. So initially Street Profits, they win. There's going to be a bit of backwards and forwards between them and the Undisputed, and later on Undisputed will probably pick up the title somewhere down the road.
Yeah, I think Undisputed Era, I wouldn't have minded seeing them win again, but they've held the tag team titles on at least a couple of occasions now, or various iterations, because I know Bobby Fish got injured while champion, and then Adam Cole replaced him for one match, in which they won the titles or regained or retained or something. And then obviously Roderick Strong was kind of he'd replaced Bobby Fish more permanently until Bobby Fish had come back from injury. And it was kind of like they were sort of doing like the Freebird sort of rule for a while, weren't they? Where like all three of them, or even four if you include Cole, were classed as
New Day rule.
I thought Takeover was a very good show. I always look forward to the NXT takeovers because they're always consistently very good. I think with this one, I think I was kind of a little bit flatter for it because just with my general jaded sort of sense of what WWE is doing and knowing that, the tag team ladder match, it was a necessity because the War Raiders had been called up, and they would sort of, they became an instant meme really with that whole Viking experience cobbling. That gets sorted out. They vacated the titles, which I never really like to see be done unless it has to be done for injury or suspension. But just because, like, oh well, we've buggered off to is it Raw? They're on Raw.
I think so. Yeah.
Raiders. We've buggered off to Raw. We're giving these titles up. It's like you've stepped up, but you've gone onto a show that is 3 hours long and is universally now derided as being abysmal. Whereas before at NXT you were like proper stars. It's like going back to when Rach mentioned Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze, I'd almost forgotten he existed while he'd been on Raw or SmackDown. The moment he came back to NXT, he was treated like a megastar again. It's like the difference between night and day. And I don't know. I think maybe NXT? I mean, I think they've got to struggle a little more now to be getting sort of certain indie talent and foreign talent in, simply because of All Elite Wrestling coming on the scene. But they'll still get some good signings, like Kushida for one. He's been a recent signing and a pretty big name. And I think they'll get more, but I think what with all Elite now in the mix, it's it's going to be more of a sort of who will he choose sort of thing. Whereas before there was like choice, it was WWE. So I don't know. I think NXT now need especially if there's going to be more call ups, and there's bound to be sooner or later. I think there needs to be some more signings, some more people who have been in the actual developmental system, the performance center for a long time. Hopefully some of those will be ready to make the next step. But it was a good show. I still think NXT is absolutely far and away miles ahead of main roster WWE.
Yeah. Certainly Raw, most definitely.
Yeah, I think SmackDown can be fairly good, sometimes, but even then it's sort of hit and miss. Whereas NXT, and the good thing about NXT as a weekly show, I mean, it's like an hour long. It's an hour out of your week, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like 2 hours if you include NXT UK, but that is a separate brand in of itself, and we won't particularly talk about those tonight. Although, even though we know there is a big event coming up in August.
Yeah.
So Takeover, it wasn't as good as Double or Nothing, but then again, I wasn't expecting it to be. But it was, I like NXT takeovers. I don't think I've ever seen one that's been really bad. I've seen ones that have been kind of above average, but even then, they've had. But this one, I think, was well above average. I think it was good to very good.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think when the next US takeover will be. Probably the night before SummerSlam, I would have thought.
I would have thought so, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
So fingers crossed that no one too important gets called up to bloody Raw or SmackDown between now and then.
And if you do get called up, hope it's SmackDown.
Well, yeah. But even then, I'm not sort of, I don't have that much hope.
Sorry, go on, Rich.
What are they doing with EC3? I mean,
I was just going to ask the very same thing.
They completely buried him.
Well, oh God, I mean, if you listen to the Talk Is Jericho podcast with Moxley, I mean, it was weird. It's like EC3 got punished because Moxley, or Dean Ambrose as he still was back then, was getting cheered. It's weird. It's just Vince's mind works in a weird way. Like, why,
it's not his fault, is it?
It was in like this house show program with EC3, and the wrong people were getting cheered and booed and all the rest of it. And because Dean Ambrose was definitely leaving, for some reason, the book stops with EC3. It's like, well, that makes absolutely zero sense. It's just crazy.
Well,
but this is Vince McMahon. I don't want to keep going back to Vince McMahon, and I'm sat here and it looks like I'm just criticising this 17-year-old man.
It's not undeserved, though.
Who's got a screw it. Yeah, I think Vince McMahon, you know, he's going to go down as the greatest wrestling promoter of all time. That's in the bag. He's done a lot of great work. But
it's like bloody Mussolini.
You've got to hang up the, you know, he's got to hang up the blazer with the shoulder pads, hasn't he? You know.
Yeah. No, but he's like Mussolini because you know he's a great leader and all the rest of it, but he's lost his freaking mind.
Yeah, and he can't relinquish control. It's just
And
you know, it's like how much more does Triple H have to prove that he can do it? You know, he's Triple H. I mean, they call him Mr. NXT now, and you know, I'm not saying Triple H is perfect. I'm sure when Triple H does eventually have, you know, sole custody of WWE or split custody with Stephanie, I should say. And, you know, nothing's ever going to be 100% perfect all the time. Mistakes will be made. But, you know, if Triple H's resume is like his passport to running the company and NXT and the work he's done there is on it, then surely that's good enough for Vince to say, okay, I can start to ease back now. Maybe over the next couple of years, I can sort of gradually, you know, enter into like a sort of pre-retirement period. Because, you know, otherwise, I know they're making money and that's going to be the bottom line, but it's, you know, there can't be much creative satisfaction for anyone in main roster WWE now. And I'm not just talking about the wrestlers. I'm talking about the producers, the writers.
Well, half of them are left.
Yeah, you know, just it must be kind of a bit of a miserable place to be working, really. Whereas NXT, even though it's kind of a self-contained thing, yeah, they do go out on tour, but it's, you know, like they're kind of mainly based at the Performance Center in Florida, and it's all kind of, we're all like a little family, we help each other out sort of thing, and Triple H is like our dad, and William Regal's like our uncle, and, you know, it's just you know, helping each other out, and it's all nice, and then you get to WWE, and it must be like sort of, well, like I said before, it must be like going from day to night, really. It's like, you know, I feel sorry for all these call-ups. I keep saying it, but it's true.
I just wanted to make a point. You said about how EC3 effectively got into trouble for the audience calling the wrong people.
Yeah,
right?
not his fault whatsoever.
No,
it's stupid.
I went to see a Raw. Effectively what was a Raw house show quite a few years back now. And this I think Vince's attitude has changed for the worst. Because we went to see, we went to see the show, and it was Batista versus Christian, and everybody was cheering Christian, right? And Christian was supposed to be the bad guy, right? Christian was so over, really over with the British fans, and nothing happened about that, not a thing. You know, nothing came of it. It was just like, okay, fine. It was on a house show. You know, it doesn't really matter. Move on. So it seems to me like Vince is, as he's got older, has got more and more like, no, everything has to be done my way.
Yeah.
You know, doesn't matter. It's my company. I can do what the hell I want. Doesn't matter. Doesn't care what the fans think. Bollocks to anybody else.
He needs to be winding back. And I know he's this kind of megalomaniac guy who doesn't need much sleep at night, and, you know, he's always on the job. And I suppose back in the day that was a plus, but it's not a plus now. And you only have to watch Raw, and not just watch Raw. You don't even have to watch it. I mean, you know,
You've heard of the things.
Look at the multitude of stories that seem to be coming out nearly every day now about more and more wrestlers being miserable there. Absolutely miserable.
And all these last-minute changes. You know, in the flick of a switch, he changes his mind.
Yeah, I think that's...
You know, that's why the writers are getting pissed off. You know, spent like 2 weeks coming up with this bloody story, doing all the rest of it. Oh, yeah, this is what's going to happen. And then it just goes, you know, like 30 minutes into the show, just before the thing's going to happen. No, we're going to do this now.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the point of me even bothering?
Yeah.
What, you know, why should
I mean, that was part of WCW's original downfall. Like, you get like Eric Bischoff like writing the show, and then sort of like something stupid like 15 minutes before airtime, like you get Kevin Nash or Hulk Hogan looking at the script, going, "No, that doesn't work for me. We've got to change all that," you know. And then they're having to basically write the show as it's happening.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. There's no way to run a company.
No. I think Triple H knows this, but it's like, you know, until he's given the keys to the kingdom, he's got to, you know, basically just carry on doing what he's doing and just biding his time, I guess.
Yeah.
But, so that was our talk about NXT and the state of WWE. Some very interesting things there. And one thing I also want to quickly talk about is something that only happened yesterday. Jason's not seen it, but it was a really good wrestling show. New Japan's Best of the Super Juniors. I think it was the 26th annual tournament. It had the final in it. The tournament's been going on for a month or 2 months, I think. It was on yesterday morning in the UK. Not going to talk too much about it because I don't watch an awful lot of New Japan, but what I have watched, I've always enjoyed. Rachel, I know you watched it, so I can talk to you a little bit about Best of the Super Juniors. What did you reckon to the show yesterday?
I thought it was a really good show. I really enjoyed it. I did like the match between Jay White. With Jay White, I can't remember the bloke.
And Tanahashi.
I loved Motley's match. I loved Will Ospreay versus. I can't say. You know who I mean?
Shingo. Shingo. Well, I'll just call him Shingo. Yeah, but and that was the. That was the tournament final. So
was it Ujimuji backflip?
Yeah, all right, Jace.
Sorry. That's for us who can't pronounce the names.
So Will Ospreay won the tournament final. He got like this little trophy that I think they always get every year, or a variant of it. That was a bloody brilliant match. That I recommend anyone who just wants to watch one match and seek that out. It was so many near falls and Shingo and Ospreay hitting their finishers and kickouts at 2 and and for me, I think as like Western wrestling fans, I think for me and probably for Rach and many other people watching, I think the significant moment of Best of the Super Juniors yesterday was Jon Moxley. That was actually his first match since leaving WWE, and he is now the IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion. So well done to Jon Moxley. That was a great match. Moxley just like at the end of Double or Nothing, he just kind of looks purposeful again. I have to admit, Dean Ambrose, certainly before he got injured, was boring the arse off me after a while. And then when you listen to Jon Moxley speak, it's like, well, yeah, his heart wasn't in it because he was just being fed shit all the time. And now Moxley is a free agent, but he's going to be working for AEW, and he's got these Japan dates. He's the US champion in New Japan. He had a great match with Juice Robinson, who a former NXT alumni. I enjoyed it. It's not the biggest show of the year for New Japan, but it's like a sort of annual thing. In fact, they run tournaments pretty much all year round in New Japan, don't they? And I do like junior heavyweight wrestling, as they call it over there, because it's always fast paced, high flying. Will Ospreay, he's marvelous athlete.
He is.
And I'm just trying to think. There was Jericho. Now Jericho didn't make an appearance in person, did he? But he was like a sort of video screen sort of bit, didn't he?
Apparently, Vicky can join.
Nikki's trying to join.
Right, good.
She said, "I'm home. I can join for a few." It's just come up on this. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if Vicky can see sort of the actual live stream now, but yeah, she can. Yeah, she can just come on and just interrupt at any point. But
shall I do that?
Yeah. So yeah, best of the Super Juniors, and a great time of the year to subscribe to New Japan World, even for a month, because best of the Super Juniors final yesterday, and then on Sunday morning, we've got Dominion, which is another one of like the big marquee events in Japanese wrestling, and the main event for that will be Okada versus Jericho for the IWGP World Title. I love Jericho in Japan. He just his heel character is just so. It's just so. What's the word I'm looking for? I can't say hateable because I like watching him too much.
Yeah.
He's just he gets it. He knows exactly.
He's legit heel.
Yeah, and he does. I think this all. Even though his first match back in New Japan was like back in January 2018. Hi, Vicky. By the way, I've seen you in chat.
Hello.
Please join us when you're able to. Jericho. He's had the match with Omega back in 2018. Then he had a match. He's had a couple of matches actually since then, because he won and then lost the IWGP Intercontinental title. But now he's got this world title shot. I'm going to be really interested regarding Dominion to see whether Jericho actually wins that. I don't think. I'm not. That's gonna get in. Hopefully she'll be able to get in. I might have to send her another invite if she's struggling. Just let us know if you're struggling, Vicky. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to this match, Okada versus Jericho. It's going to be interesting to see if Jericho wins the title, knowing that he has also got the he's also the joint #1 contender for the AEW. Vicky needs an invite. Could you give us your email? Could you give us your email address, please, Vicky? Just and I'll do it. I'll do it from the app on here. So otherwise, I've got to.
We'd certainly like you in for the predictions, please.
Yeah, and we've not even started the predictions yet. We've been talking a lot about other things. So,
I'll tell you what I would like to see. It's kind of slightly off topic, but all connected with Jericho.
Right.
Is that on one of these big pay-per-views, he brings in Fozzy.
Yeah,
he brings in his band.
I think that's his entrance theme in Japan and AEW, isn't it? Judas.
Yeah,
which is a great song.
They're a really good live band.
Right, Vicky has been invited again, so hopefully she'll be able to get in.
Yeah.
Just good timing as well, Vicky, if you can get in now, because we will be proceeding with the predictions. But no, I would like to recommend. I mean, Jason, obviously, there is such a thing as too much wrestling. You might think, well, I've got
yeah, a little bit.
I do think Dominion is going to be. I do think Dominion's going to be a really good show on Sunday.
Aside from Jericho, who else is on there that I've probably heard of?
Zack Sabre Jr.
Zack Sabre, he's a good wrestler. He is a good wrestler.
Yeah,
Will
I
Ospreay?
did have the list of matches up earlier on, didn't I? Oh no, that's not it. That's something else.
Have you heard of Will Ospreay?
Will Ospreay, yeah. I'm not. I think I've only ever seen one match. That would have been in New Japan.
In fact,
Was that
the tournament final, what he won against Shingo Takagi, that I'm actually reading his name out now, yesterday.
Was he
that
on there?
also meant he becomes the #1 contender for the junior heavyweight title because he shot against Dragon Lee on Sunday.
Wasn't Will in the G1 Supercard?
He may have been. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm sure I've seen him wrestle.
Probably, yeah. I can't say for certain.
Yeah.
That's an event. In fact, that's an event I actually want to catch up on while I'm still subbing. So
yeah, that was with Ring of Honor.
Japan World permanently. I just do it I like to do it start of January for Wrestle Kingdom, and I think June's a good month because you've got Best of the Super Juniors, and then only a few days later you've got Dominion. There's some good matches coming up. Like I say, Dragon Lee defends the junior heavyweight title against Will Ospreay. Jushin Liger and Yoshi-Hashi are tagging against Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr. I know Liger is this is kind of his retirement tour. Does anyone remember that takeover that Liger was booked on? I thought that were great that they managed to get Liger for that match.
Yes, who was that against?
That was against Tyler Breeze, funnily enough.
Yeah. No, that was a good match. He's got to be getting on a bit though, isn't he? Oh, Jushin.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's been going for
50 odd.
Yeah, got to be, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen. I don't know if you've seen on Facebook, mate.
I'm trying to get in, so I need to give her a link again.
Okay. I mean, Jushin, as far as I'm concerned, but certainly by that much, he can still go.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was in it was either a 6-man or an 8-man match on yesterday's, and I really didn't have an awful lot to do on it, but he's obviously can still perform to a pretty high standard. But
was he the one who Jay White got in the face of on the commentary table, or is that someone else?
Yes, it was. Yes, because he went and did commentary for the Japanese table afterwards, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought it was. I remember him getting in the face of someone, and I couldn't think.
Yeah,
I know I've seen the rest of them before, but I couldn't remember his name.
And what I like about these bigger shows like Wrestle Kingdom, Dominion, Super Juniors, etc., like you do get the English language commentary, because some of the smaller shows, like you're only going to get the Japanese commentary, which I'd still watch. If I can
figure out what's going on.
Yeah, you can still see the action. That's the main thing. But it is nice to have English commentary as well. I'm kind of stalling a little bit here because Vicky was having some problems getting in.
I only know the majority of Will Ospreay matches that I've seen when he's been in Progress, because he had a really long rivalry with Jimmy Havoc, and because Will's quite a baby face normally, but he was the heel for majority of the rivalry.
Yeah.
And
can I just say something to help Vicky out a minute? Vicky, when you click on the link, it's when you get into Google Hangouts itself and you get the thing come up, accept or decline or whatever, you can do it that way, or you've got the little bit with the little camera icon up the top. Don't click on that bit, but click directly underneath on the actual, I think it's the title of the stream or the Hangout. Yeah? Hopefully that'll let you get in. That's what works for me. Because I had issues getting in. It was saying you were about to join, but wouldn't actually let me join. I clicked on the other one.
You didn't seem to have any problems.
No, just slight hiccup.
It's like that. I don't know if she can.
Yeah, you know what I mean, do you, H?
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, you got the green bit.
Can you see?
Click on the green bit as opposed to the actual camera icon.
Yeah, it's confusing because like, yeah, there's like a separate thing that like people have chatted in that's like not the actual hangout. I mean, I'm no expert on this really. I just use it because it's the way, you know, it's the easiest way to do a multi-person, you know, panel show on YouTube. But I couldn't really give you like proper tips. But I think hopefully Vicky, keep trying, but we're gonna have to move on and do the predictions. And if I mean, Vicky, stay with us in chat by all means, and you know, you can give us your predictions in there. But obviously,
let me get a bit of paper.
Keep trying to come in, because obviously, you know, you're a member of the panel, and it'd be great to see you and everything. But we do have to carry on at some point.
Right.
But your predictions are important as anyone else's. So.
Do you remember when I said R-Truth got pinned on a plane?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, apparently he was fast asleep and Jinder Mahal pinned him.
That title was stupid though.
It just come up on YouTube.
Yeah. You're getting the 4. Yeah, that's what I was getting, Vicky. That's why when you go in, you still click on it, still click on the link, and then, as I say, when it comes up, instead of clicking on the camera, click on the green bar with all our names on it, and see if that helps. If not, I'll try and I could screen share so you could see it. I don't know if that would help. I know what I'll do. I'll send you a screen cap. Sorry about this, folks. We have technical difficulties arising.
Yeah. Well, oh, hang on. No, she's
I'll send you a screen
she did.
Sorry about that. Oh, she is.
Yeah, she did.
Excellent.
Yeah. Well.
And you need to turn off your YouTube sound.
Yeah, give her a chance.
I'm just letting her know.
Only
saying.
Sure. No. Vicky's not exactly a novice at live streaming. She does like trivia all the time. Right, hello to the Night Owl. Thank you for joining us. You've missed some interesting chat, but you've not missed the predictions, which is like basically the main reason we do this. So, welcome, Vicky. How are you? Hope you're well.
It's been rough, but I'll tell you guys later. But I'm doing okay.
Okay, good. Well, we're all glad that you're here, especially for this, because you know, and we'll fill you in about other prediction results from last month later on. And obviously, you can re-watch parts of it if you want. But we will get down to Super Showdown, which is tomorrow night on the WWE Network. Now, it starts at 7, but there is a pre-show. So I mean, is the pre-show 7 or is the pre-show? I meant to check and I didn't.
Can you give me 30 seconds? Right, I just want to wet the whistle because I'm getting a bit parched with all this talking.
Usually the preview is about an hour beforehand.
Yeah.
So whatever time it starts.
I'm wondering if it's going to be like a 2. I don't think it'll be 2-hour pre-show.
Yeah.
But I could check on my iPad because I've got the network app on here, but it don't. I think Rach might be checking actually. But Vicky, we've talked a lot about AEW and some about NXT and about the state of WWE. We can briefly have your thoughts about Double or Nothing. I think you saw it, didn't you? Double or Nothing.
I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I have seen, because I follow it on YouTube. And I follow it on Instagram and all that stuff. I was quite impressed with John Moxley. Quite impressed. It's back to almost the way WWE was a long time ago when Hulk Hogan and them were involved. And I was actually really impressed with a lot of things and how it's going. And I think WWE should go back to that, where they could lose a lot of really good talent.
Well, yeah, this is what we've been talking about pretty much for the last hour, really. Just the sort of moribund state of WWE. But anyway, Jason is back. So
sorry about that.
Right, the pre-show on the 6 o'clock. The pre-show's on at 6 o'clock till 7.
Okay. 6.
Okay.
So pre-show at 6, and then pay-per-view 7, and that's UK time. So Vicky's time will be 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the afternoon for you, Vicky, tomorrow. Yep.
Yeah, about 2 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah. So Super Showdown. So it's got to be a pre-show for an hour. I think there's been one pre-show match that's been announced. Rach, you are the one who lists all the matches for us. Can you tell us what that match is, please?
Well, the pre-show match, it's the Revival versus the Usos.
So Revival versus Usos. Hi, Mr. Jam has joined us just in time to listen to our Super Showdown. Mr. Jam, thank you for joining us. Much appreciated. Pre-show Usos versus Revival. I'll start with you, Vicky. Who's your pick for this?
I'm going to say the Usos because I love them. I think they're awesome. I like their new outlook, their new entrance, all that stuff. The way they've been as of late, fighting tooth and nail to get those championships back. Sorry. I really think that they could pull this one out. They're a really good team together, and they're brothers, obviously, so they know how each other works and, you know, where their strengths and weaknesses are. So yeah, I'm going for them.
Okay, good. Rach, Usos or Revival?
I'm going to go with the Usos, just because at this moment I don't think WWE are really caring what happens to the Revival. They put them in like stupid backstage segments. So I'm going to go with the Usos.
Yeah. Just before I go to Jason, and Mr. Jam says, have we seen they've flown Alexa Bliss and Natalia out? So there's possibly going to be a women's match, but they need permission. Yes, now I did hear about that not long before I started setting up for this show. It'll be interesting to see, because if it ends up not being a women's match, then they might do something like come out and wave or whatever. I don't know. But, I mean, if there is the match between Alexa and Natalia, well, I need to be careful because I might set my. Between Bliss and Natalia, then I think that'll go a little bit towards negating some of the, or it'll be a bit more of a positive PR for this Saudi arrangement, which has been kind of tarnished in controversy all this time. Mr. Jam says it's the only way to get the bad press off them for doing the Saudi shows. Yeah, it's like a 10-year deal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, how old's Vince McMahon going to be in 10 years? 80, like nearly 85. Probably.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, Jason, the pre-show match is a tag team match. It's the Usos. It's the Revival.
I do still like the Usos. I won't pretend that I don't. But you've almost seen everything there is for them to do.
Yeah.
You kind of want something else to happen. But aside from that, I think the Usos will win simply because there seems to be a lot of heat on the Revival at the moment. I hear they are amongst some of the people that want to get out. So WWE are hardly going to put over a team that don't want to be there.
No.
That's nothing to do with, normally I'd be going, head or heart sort of thing. But this, I think it's a foregone conclusion. I think the Usos will win.
Yeah.
Plus they seem to be quite over again at the moment.
Agree with everything that everyone said. It's a pre-show match. It's not for any titles. In fact, who are the Raw Tag Team Champions? Is it still Ryder and Hawkins?
Yeah.
It is.
I can't remember hearing anything about a Raw Tag Team title match since like WrestleMania, and that's like over 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Did they have the booking is pathetic, isn't it? It's just really shit now.
Didn't they have a title defense on Raw or something?
We probably did, but I mean,
I can't remember.
I do see the Raw result, but like there can't be much doing with them, really.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I could rant and go off topic there, but I won't. Revival, they've not been happy for a while. I think they're going to be a couple of the guys who, as soon as their contracts are up, they're buggering off. I think if the Usos win, it'll sort of be, it'll get the crowd going a little bit in, early doors. So, yeah, I'm going to say Usos. I think everyone's going for the Usos in this one.
Yep.
So at least the only planned pre-show match that we know of. So the main card, Rach, you can take these in whichever order you like.
Well, the next match I wrote down was a 3-on-1 handicap match between Lars Sullivan and Lucha House Party.
This sounds a bit like a pre-show match, but then again, Lars Sullivan, like you feel like Vince does want to push him a little bit, don't you? Handicap 3-on-1. Lars Sullivan against Kalisto, Gran Metalik, and Lince Dorado. Vicky, what are your thoughts on this one?
I don't know. I think to me this should have been a pre-show match. I don't know. It's just kind of silly to me at this point. It's not even. I can't even take it seriously compared to watching the Lucha Underground to this, But I'm gonna say, is it Gran Metalik you said or Kalisto? Like against all three of them?
It's all three. It's Kalisto, Gran Metalik, and Lince Dorado, and then they're against Lars Sullivan. It's the usual monster heel handicap match kind of drill.
Well, I'm just gonna say the Lucha House Party because 3 against 1. We all know how that ends up working out, unless they have a couple people will come down in the middle of the match and cause an issue or something like that to defend Lars, right? Like you never know because it happened more times than not. But I'm just gonna say the Lucha House Party. But it just, to me, this match is almost pointless. I don't know why, but it's going to be a quick one. I can say that.
Kind of meh to me, to be honest. But so just before we go to Rage, Mr. Jam says there won't be a SmackDown tag title match because Daniel Bryan refused to go. Yeah, that's a good point. Been a few refusals. I think Kevin Owens refused to go. Rather controversially, I think Sami Zayn hasn't been allowed to go because he's of Syrian descent.
So that's not allowed to go either because of his tattoos.
Yeah, Aleister Black. Yeah, so I think these kind of situations are going to be cropping up for while ever this Saudi deal is legally in place. Yeah, it is what it is. Rach, Lars Sullivan, Lucha House Party.
I'm going to go with Lars Sullivan, just because how he is. I've seen him beat up, a lot of people. So I'm going to go with Lars Sullivan. Yeah.
Okay. Jason Clow.
Well,
the 3-1 handicap match.
Yeah, I like the Lucha House Party. I do. I really do. I think they're fun. They're sort of a bit New Day-ish, but they've got their own slant on it.
Yeah,
they're having a good time. Yeah, but when it comes down to it, they take it seriously. But right, as I call him, Snitsky Jr. Right,
yeah.
He's Vince's new pet monster.
Yeah,
he's gonna go over. He's gonna go over.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
he just is. Especially with Vince having his way all the time at the moment.
Oh, God, yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm siding with Rachel and Jason on this one. Lars Sullivan, monster heel. It's going to be a squash. I've not really got much to say about this. Lars Sullivan for the win, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So, Rach, next match, please.
Well, next one I've got written down is the WWE Universal Championship between Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin.
Oh, dear Lord.
Now then, this could be more of an interesting one to discuss simply because of a certain Money in the Bank briefcase holder who is said to be showing up there to cash in. Universal title, Seth Rollins defending against boring Baron Corbin. The night Owl, what do you reckon to the Universal title match in Saudi Arabia?
I don't know, is Brock Lesnar even allowed in Saudi Arabia? But
I'm back.
as far as I'm concerned, he should be.
Oh yeah, he won the title at Crown Jewel, didn't he? I just realised because Roman Reigns vacated it when he was diagnosed with leukemia, and then unfortunately the upcoming show was bloody Crown Jewel, so it was him versus Roman, weren't it, for the vacant title? So yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I want to say. I don't want to say this. I'm going to say Baron Corbin.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is for the title, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I really have nothing else to say. I'm just going to say that because of where it is. It's because of where it is, and because the controversy would drive the crowd there wild. Because you know how they are about everything there. So it just like they love their wrestling. They like the controversy in wrestling and the fun stuff. So unfortunately, just the way Baron's been going lately. Yeah.
I mean, I really hope that doesn't happen. Although with Brock Lesnar said to be cashing in, I mean, if it'd be, I think it'd devalue the title if they had Corbin win it and then he'd lose it 2 minutes later to Lesnar. But you know, I mean, I'll make my prediction in a minute. But Rach,
can you hear me again?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, can you hear me?
You're fine.
I think it's hard.
It is. That's what I was saying.
I don't want Baron Corbin to win because I don't even know why he's in the title picture. I'm going to go with Seth. And I think, and I'm praying and I'm hoping that it doesn't happen. I think there's going to be a cash in and he's going to cash in on Seth.
So you think Seth will win?
Yeah.
That's what we're going with, isn't it?
The thing about the cash in, I don't think we can really count that as like a prediction.
Yeah.
Because it's not, you know, it's been said it'll happen. Lesnar and Heyman have said, we're going to do it, but we can't really call it a match as such until, you know, the match starts, and by then it's an impromptu thing. And then even though it's been sort of pre and out, and there could be some sort of swerve anyway, you could end up cashing in on Kofi. So, you know. But anyway, sorry, we could go down a real rabbit hole with all this. Mr. Jam says it really helped to boost SmackDown numbers before the Fox move, and with the wild card, it doesn't really. Yeah, that wild card thing, that's getting on my nerves as well.
Yeah, it is. What was the point of having the bloody brand changeover if they're just going to keep the same people on both shows?
Yeah, and like it's only supposed to be a certain number of people who are like allowed to switch every time, but then I think they've sort of been mucking up the numbers, haven't they? So and it's like everything else in WWE at the moment. It's a fucking mess. So excuse my language again. I mean that sort of moves. Vince McMahon has got me that wound up, but Jason's going to cheer me up now by telling me who he thinks going to win in Rollins versus Corbin.
Well, I hope to buggery it's not bloody Corbin. He was all right when he started, but then I think he's got a bit for real. I think he's got full of himself. I think he's legitimately he's an arrogant bloke, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's just his character. I think he is like that. That's how he comes across. And it winds me up. It really does. He doesn't do anything very much. He's not. If he has got a talent there, he doesn't bloody show it.
Yeah,
he really doesn't. I'm gonna have to go with logic. Logic says Seth. right?
Yeah.
I think it's them. You know, they put him Corbin in there because he's someone who would go. He is kind of in the top tier. Yeah. It gives him a bit more exposure. Bloody, yeah, call it whatever you want. But it would be stupid to have Corbin win, I think, personally. But then Vince has been doing stupid shit lately, so who knows? I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Seth anyway, right?
Yeah.
And I do think there could be a cash in on that night with Brock going after Seth.
Yeah, well, a cash in has been promised, but I'm just wondering if, like,
well, you know what Brock's like
regarding it.
Yeah, he does whatever the hell he wants, whenever he wants.
Universal title. Nobody really in the right mind wants to see Baron Corbin as Universal Champion. If they did it and like he lost it instantly, I think that'd devalue a title that really desperately needs, it needs some stability. And I think if they just leave Seth Rollins to just have these programs with guys like Corbin without this sort of spectre of Brock Lesnar hanging over him, then Seth Rollins could be Raw's #1 guy, and he could get the Universal title back up to where it needs to be.
And the way to do it,
one of the 2 world heavyweight titles in WWE. That is, it's meant to be on a par with the WWE Championship. And it's just felt like not even a joke, really, because Brock Lesnar, who's held it most of the time, has hardly been around. And,
I don't think this would happen.
Use Brock Lesnar by all means, but, don't put the world title on him if he's going to be most of the time.
You made me think of something. Brock cashes in or tries to cash in and he fails.
Well, it could happen. I mean, there's been. Last year, the memorable failure was old boring Baron himself, weren't it?
Yeah.
So,
it would be the thing that people didn't.
A bright spot on the horizon.
It would be the thing that people wouldn't see coming, though.
Yeah.
People are expecting that whoever Brock cashes in on, whether it's Seth or Kofi, Brock is going to win because he's got Vince's ear.
Yeah.
But they could so easily turn around and say, no. He's going to go for Seth because he wants to get revenge on Seth, get his title back from Seth. Yeah. And Seth basically says...
On the other hand, Seth has proven that he can beat Lesnar.
Exactly.
So there's a precedent there that, Seth can, lightning might be able to strike twice. But my prediction for this is Seth Rollins to retain. I'm not going to sort of speculate on a cash-in on Seth or Baron potentially, simply because it's not an official match. It's just like, this is what might happen. All right, so we'll just have a look at Mr. Jam's chat. They're saying this is as good as Mania, if not better. I'm glad you brought that up, actually, Mr. Jam. They're calling it, like in all the hype videos, they're calling Super Showdown the WrestleMania equivalent. What a load of absolute shit.
Bollocks.
Absolutely. That's like, they must think we as fans have got like no brains. What an absolutely cretinous thing to say. Like, if you're gonna be putting ads out in Arabic countries in the Middle East, then you can say what you like there, but you can't really say that to like the Western audience. This show's gonna be as big as WrestleMania, if not bigger. Like, we saw Crown Jewel, we saw the Greatest Royal Rumble. Yeah. We know how these things go now, and that's just like Vince McMahon and his cronies must think that the WWE universe have shit for brains, because that's
goldfish brains.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
utterly stupid.
Bag of shite.
To say, hype it that way in the Middle East in like your local advertising, fair enough, because it makes sense to do it, for them. Yeah. But like for the Western audience and everyone else outside of that part of the world, utterly cretinous beyond belief. Yeah. So right. Anyway, and another.
One. Whoosh.
You need to calm us down now by giving us the next Super Showdown match, please.
Well, the next one I got written down is the WWE Championship between Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler.
Right.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of. It's not annoying. Well, it's a bit annoying, but it's like they've wheeled Dolph Ziggler. I say wheeled him out like he's old. He's not old. He's just someone who's like sort of never around until there's like these sort of unusual shows or situations. It's like, oh, we need a decent worker. So Dolph Ziggler's not done anything for a while. He can suddenly have a WWE Championship match. You know, when I grew up watching wrestling, my thought was like, you know, you work to become the number one contender. You build your wins up on TV every week and on pay-per-view, and then eventually you're classed as the number one contender because you've been seen to be the most dominant challenger on television. And Dolph Ziggler just gets a title shot after doing I can't remember the last time I saw him. He was at the Rumble, weren't he? Did he do anything Elimination Chamber or anything?
I don't think
Hang on. I can tell you.
But
I can't remember.
But anyway, while Rach is looking that up to see what Dolph Ziggler has been doing all these months, Vicky, we will go to you for your prediction for Kofi versus Dolph.
Oh, hang on, I got this.
The reason I kind of went, oh boy, is because I honestly think that Kofi's going to win. I actually watched a YouTube video today on the WWE YouTube channel, and they talked about and showed all the matches that Dolph and Kofi have been in. And they've been some pretty darn intense matches. And they went from the very first to the wins, the losses, like when Dolph won, or the disqualifications when Dolph was with Vicky Guerrero and everything else, right? So I really think because this is Kofi's title and they're really trying to push Kofi right now and everything else, I'm going to go with Kofi Kingston because he really deserves this. And watching back those matches, he gives up a pretty darn good fight. I'm not discounting on Dolph, though, because Dolph is a really good technical wrestler. But watching all those videos, I think that Kofi's going to keep his title this time. Maybe if Dolph challenges him again, maybe the next pay-per-view or whatever, he could win. Or he could win on a technicality on Raw or whatever, SmackDown, whatever they're on now. But, you know, I'm sorry. I'm going to keep it short, but I'm going to go with Kofi.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to make my prediction until Rach and Jason have. But to someone who's never on television, suddenly to get a world title match, I mean, surely it's a no-brainer. But then again, who knows? It's just a crazy time right now, really. Rach,
He was at the Rumble. He was at the Rumble.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I thought that was the last time I seen him at the Bloody Rumble, like 6 months ago, nearly. But yeah, Ziggler challenging Kingston for the WWE title.
I'm gonna go with Vicky. I think Kofi's gonna win this. I think Kofi's gonna retain. Mainly saying that because, like you said, Dolph hasn't been around, and then all of a sudden he shows up, and that he's jumped half the talent that have been working hard to get to this point in their careers, only to leapfrog all them just to get a title shot at Kofi. So I think Kofi's gonna win.
Yeah. Just before we go to Jason,
I was going to say.
Dolph's only going because Owens is. I guess Owens would have been the natural challenger, and Ziggler's kind of like an instant replacement. And yeah, I agree. I think we know Ziggler and Kingston are capable of having a good match with each other, so that's one positive to this. It's just, to me, it's like if you're going to be the number one contender for your promotion's most prestigious title, you need to have been seen to have earned it somehow. But that's maybe I'm being a bit old-fashioned. I don't know. Jason, we know you're not old-fashioned, although you are old.
Well, yeah. You've got heart, mate.
What do you think? Of course. What have you got to say about the WWE Championship match?
Yeah. Okay. Well, the thing is, a lot of the time you're saying, "Oh, well, you know, people leapfrog in the queue," but let's be honest, it's happened more than once.
It has, but I mean, this is Dolph Ziggler, who's like been AWOL for 6 months.
You know, Dave Batista turn up out of nowhere and win a Royal Rumble, whatever it is, and Cena done the same thing. You know, sometimes that's unfortunately with WWE especially, quite often how long you've been away has got bugger all to do with it. They're just like, oh well, we can use you, we can make something out of this. Let's stick him in. Having said that, it stands to reason that they would keep the title on Kofi. I don't think he's got long left. He's got long left. I think maybe up to SummerSlam, and then he's going to lose, right? But I'm going to go with Kofi. I think this actually, it might sound a bit strange, this could actually be one of the top matches of the evening.
Yeah.
It's not. Normally it wouldn't be, but because it's not the strongest of cards by any stretch.
No, it isn't.
You've got two guys who can go. Kofi is a damn good wrestler. Dolph, when he puts his mind to it, he can have moments of brilliance. So, but yeah, anyway, I digress. Kofi for the win, I believe.
Yeah, well, I'm going to agree with everyone here and say Kofi to win. I'm just wondering if, like, because I didn't really want to touch upon Brock Lesnar's cashing too much. Is that he's going to cash in on Kofi. And Mr. Jan made a good point earlier about, and I think something like we've even talked about a little bit in previous streams, that when this new SmackDown deal starts, when they move to Fox and they wanting all the big names and they want it to be more sports oriented, I mean, they're going to want Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar is probably going to want the world title, and whether we like it or we don't. Would he cash in on Kofi? I'm thinking if Brock is going to successfully cash in tomorrow night, it's more likely he's going to do it on Kofi than Seth. I really think that. My prediction for the match is Kofi to retain against Ziggler, and obviously what Brock Lesnar does doesn't count anyone's prediction score. But just as an aside, I think if there is going to be a cash in, that's going to be the swerve, and he's going to cash in on Kingston.
Can I just say, with this business with the Fox deal and all the rest of it, you've got to remember they've still got the other network that they've got to keep happy as well.
Yeah.
So where do they go? Do they put, if they're going to put Brock on SmackDown, who goes on Raw to keep that network happy? And that's all I'm going to say on that.
Well, I mean, with this wild card thing, which is a mess, but I mean, it does mean that people can sort of just switch brands temporarily and then just go back and, I mean, I don't want to get bogged down in all that bollocks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there we are. So we've all gone for Kofi Kingston. Next match, please, Rach.
Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon.
Right.
Yeah. What a load of bollocks.
Well, okay, yeah. Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon. Vicky.
I don't even want to predict this match. It's just stupid. I mean, we said this last pay-per-view too. We were talking about how dumb this is. Shane is not a wrestler. He's like petered out in a quarter of the way into match, sweating like a pig. And you know what I mean? Like he's dripping. It's just oh my gosh, he just, I don't know. I think he should stay behind the scenes and like learn to take over for his dad instead of being in the ring. You know what I mean? But I mean, you got to think about it too. Vince did the same crap. He was in there wrestling like he thought he was a wrestler, you know, and
Yeah, but Vince was entertaining.
yeah,
That's the
Vince
difference.
was actually mildly entertaining, and he was a little more, I guess you could say, technically prepared than Shane. Shane's
It's
just
not-
in
it's
there to
not-
goof off.
Yeah, but also Vince, I don't think took himself too seriously. It was all done with a bit tongue in cheek.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just having
Anyway,
a bit of fun.
Sorry, I've
But
interrupted
anyway,
your- carry on.
yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, I'm gonna say, I don't even want to say Shane. I'm gonna say Roman, just 'cause I don't like Shane at all. But I mean, I have a feeling someone's gonna come in and interfere. I can see Rach smiling at me right now.
Yeah, probably.
But I gotta go with my future husband and say Roman.
Oh, I
The future-
see. Right. Yeah, then.
Oh,
Now we know. Now we know.
oh no, I remember Vicky mentioning that last month. No, she's got first dibs on Roman, I reckon.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, dang. No, that's me out of the picture then.
You get- what were you wanting to get engaged to Vicky or to Roman?
No, Roman.
You and Roman make a lovely couple, actually, Jason. Vicky after.
Yeah. No offense.
If I marry him,
No offense.
if I marry him, you're all invited to ringside seats every night.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay. No, I was gonna say it's just that, you know, Roman's just that little bit hunkier than Vicky, so
Okay. We know what about Jason's preferences tonight, but we do need to hear Rachel's
sorry.
Right.
Reigns versus Shane.
Right. I think this is a done match. I think Roman's going to win. But I think Elias, whoever Shane's been talking to, will interfere.
Yeah.
But I think Roman will win.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay.
Jason, Roman Reigns.
Can I drop an F-bomb?
You're all right.
What a load of old fucking bollocks.
Oh, yeah. We're all in agreement on that one, Chase. Yeah.
I think that just puts just the right amount of emphasis on this whole situation. I've said before, when he was younger, Shano in a match, yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah,
He helped put people over.
Weren't he? It was,
Yeah.
it was fine, and he was like 20 years younger. So
Yeah. Spot monkey, but you know, Kurt, the match with Kurt was brilliant. I love that match.
Yeah.
King of the Ring. Was it? I can't even remember what bloody year it was now.
2001. That was.
Something like that. Yeah. Anyway.
No, it was 2001. It wasn't something like 2001. It was 2001.
All right, I'll take your word for it. Cheers, Professor. Thank you very much. Right. Anyway. Right. Yeah. I'm going to have to make a prediction, so I'm going to go with Roman, but I really don't give a stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I couldn't give a rat's backside either. I've ranted way too much about Shane McMahon on pretty much every one of these streams that I've done. I'm not gonna repeat myself now, but I am gonna pick him for the win. I'm gonna go against you all. I'm gonna there's gonna be some sort of outside interference. Shane McMahon has had luck in Saudi Arabia, so whether they're gonna continue.
Yeah. Are we Scottish laddie with a running?
Yeah. So I'm picking Shane McMahon to defeat Roman Reigns here. Probably the wrong choice, but I'm not past caring because I never cared in the first place. But there we are. All right, next match, please.
No, fuck's sake! You just seen what's been put down below, Mr. Lamb. No, just no.
Doing a streak, a Saudi streak. Yeah, it's not going to have the same sort of cachet to it, really, as the WrestleMania Undertaker streak.
Sounds really not a Saudi streak. Well, hey!
Mm.
Hey!
Yes, okay. Thank you, Jason. Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, it gets to that point in the night where Jason's getting a bit overexcited and the caffeine's kicking in. But anyway, Rach.
Haven't had any.
Right.
Yeah, whatever. Rach, next match, please.
The next match is the WWE Intercontinental Championship between the Demon Finn Balor versus Andreas.
Now, this one should be another good. This should be one of the few actual decent matches on the card, I think. But we'll hear what people have to say about it, starting as we do with Vicky, Intercontinental title, Andrade challenging against the Demon.
I actually what? Oh
So,
my gosh!
Yeah, let Jason talk a while. The rest of us will talk about wrestling. Yeah.
You know what? I love both these guys. I think Andrade it's his time. He's coming up. He's done a lot. He's really making a name for himself. And I do love Finn Balor as the Demon more so than just Finn. He's a lot more aggressive. The real him comes out. He's a lot. I don't know. He's just really on his game when he's more of the Demon. It's a tough call because I really like both of them. And like you said, Jimmy, I think it's going to be a good match to watch. It's going to be an interesting one. Well, because Finn Balor's been gone for a bit, hadn't he? He's been around, but he's not doing too much.
Yeah, well, yeah, you could say that about a lot of people although
He got injured, didn't he?
it's battles on SmackDown now, isn't it? So.
I think he got injured after Money in the Bank. That's why they
Yeah,
kept him.
that was it.
Right. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Thanks, Rach. Yeah, it's I think I'm gonna go with Finn.
Okay.
Just because I love him as a wrestler. I like the way he wrestles. And like I said, I like him as the Demon. But Andrade is going to give him a run for his money. I can say that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Rach, we know you're a Finn Balor fan, Rach. Is your heart going to overrule your head in this one, or perhaps your heart and your head?
Yeah, if that's what's the case.
Anyway.
I think Andrade is, for what I saw in the Money in the Bank, between him and Finn, some of those spots that they did, I can see him giving Finn a run for his money.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it's his time just now for him to win the title. I'm going to go Finn, but I think Andreas will win the title at the next pay-per-view.
Yeah. Okay, so 2 for Finn there. Is Jason going to make it 3 for the Demon?
Oh, it's a tough call, this one. And actually, I'd kind of forgotten about this match. This could be the match of the night. Now, before I make my prediction, I would have questioned, is Finn definitely coming out as the Demon?
He's advertised, so yeah.
Right.
So,
I think if he comes out as the Demon, right, because of the way that they've marketed that whole thing, then theoretically Finn should win. So I will go for Finn, but I don't know if it's just me, but I think Andrade, in just recent times, he's stepped his game up.
Mm.
I don't know whether it's something that someone's whispered in his ear, because I know he's had, was it Selena Vega?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right, doing his management thing, but obviously that's mainly characterization. She may generally be helping him out. I don't know. Sometimes that does happen, but for a while there's been something lacking, and it's suddenly like he's found something extra. So.
No.
I think it's going to be a damn good match. I still think Finn's going to win because of the whole Demon business. But like everyone else is saying, I think Andrade is going to give him a real good match out of this and elevate both of them up the ladder.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it 4-4. I think. Excuse me. I think simply because the Demon character has been well protected so far. It's certainly not the right time for the Demon to lose his first match on a bloody inconsequential Saudi Arabian show. So, but I do totally agree with what Rach said about. I think Andrade is heading for that win, probably at Stomping Ground. I would have thought, or if not, then maybe Extreme Rules. He's going to be an Intercontinental Champion sooner or later. I just don't think it's going to be tomorrow. So I'm going to go with the Demon, Finn Balor. All right, Rach, how many matches have we got left now? I can think of 3.
We've got 4.
Oh, 4. Right, okay. What's our next one then?
The next one is Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley.
That's the one I couldn't think of. Let's crack this one out pretty quick. So I really don't give a shit. Go on, Vicky. Braun versus Bobby Lashley.
You know what? I really think that Braun's going to win. I think that I like them both. They're great. They're powerhouses, both of them.
Mm.
So I'm thinking that, I don't know, I want to say Braun. Yeah, I'm going to go with Braun because Bobby Lashley's just been a real jerk as of late. Sorry. Yeah. So, yeah.
There we are.
But
so,
I don't care either, really.
It's just that sort of show, and it's like, it's a match, it's happening. You need to pick one, heads or tails, although Braun I think's been slightly better protected than Bobby Lashley, but even then Braun, I don't know, all the momentum he had sort of a year and a half ago seems to have gone. So. But anyway, Rach, Strowman versus Lashley.
Yeah, like with you guys, I don't really care about this match. I think Braun's going to win. Simply because Bobby Lashley ain't got the annoying one to be his mouthpiece anymore.
Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah. I think it's a shame. I know it's kind of Marmite Leo Rush, but
he's entertaining enough.
Yeah, I got what they were doing and with it, and it made Bobby Lashley a bit more interesting. Rachel's picked Braun Strowman. Jason, who's your pick for this one?
I think I'm going to go the same, simply because they're not. I'm sorry, but Lashley's boring. He's so dull. He's got ability. Yes, he's got ability, but what are they using him for? To be honest with you, what are they using him for? Strong arm tactics, helping out Shane. It's dull. It's boring.
Yeah.
And even Braun, it's not really going anywhere.
No, and he hasn't been for some time now, has he?
So, I'm going to go with Strowman. I think out of the 2, he's still the more over.
Oh yeah.
So it makes sense to go with him.
Yeah. For me, although on paper I think it's more likely Strowman will win, but just for the fact that I've got no interest in this match at all. It could be I could toss a coin to decide really, but I'll go with a consensus. This match doesn't matter. Certainly doesn't matter to me. I'll say simply because I think he's probably someone who would get pushed slightly better in the long run. I will also say Braun Strowman for the win. So we'll pick Braun Strowman for that match. Last 3 matches to go. Oh, sorry, Jason.
Yeah. I would just like to say for people that don't know what I was laughing at, just read Mr. Lamb's last line.
No, I knew what you were laughing at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Jason.
Mr. Lamb, thank you very much. That was a good. That did make me chuckle.
It was good, and it was. We all enjoyed it. Rachel, what's the next match at Super Showdown?
Well, the next match I got written down is Goldberg versus The Undertaker.
Oh, God.
Right, okay. Goldberg versus Undertaker. You know what? The 20-something me would have marked out big time for this, but I'm nearly 40, and what's more, Undertaker and Goldberg are even older. So, Vicky, Undertaker versus Goldberg, it's a dream match on paper, but that's where it's going to stay a dream match, I fear.
Yeah, I think 20 years ago, this would have been an awesome match to see when Goldberg was at his highest, when The Undertaker wasn't so run down. I said this, I think we touched on this last prediction thing where we talked about the fact that Brock, ever since Brock knocked The Undertaker down, gave him a concussion and everything else, or it was the person before him or something, but ever since then, even The Undertaker has admitted he's not been the same. So for me, I don't think he's going to win this match.
Right.
Goldberg is younger than him. He proved with his match against Brock Lesnar that Goldberg still has a lot left in him. He's a lot, like I said, he's a lot younger than The Undertaker. He's had less injuries than The Undertaker, just stuff like that. So I'm going to go with Goldberg based on that, because he could take The Undertaker out in 2 clotheslines or 2, whatever you want to call them, like just... or not clotheslines, you know what I mean? Spears. Sorry.
The spears, yeah.
Yeah, 2 spears and Undertaker's gone, because, like, what does he really have left? But this, I would have been excited. Like, I agree with you, Jimmy. I would have been excited for this, like, when I was 20, 21. But, yeah, no. Yeah, but I'm going to go with Goldberg.
Okay. Rach, Goldberg versus Undertaker. It's a match I never thought I'd live to see, and now I wish I wasn't living to see. No, that makes it sound a bit morbid on my part. But anyway, Goldberg versus Undertaker.
Well, it is The Undertaker, mate.
But The Undertaker's always been one of my favourite wrestlers. But I'm going to have to agree with you and Vicky. I don't think he can go anymore. You've seen previous matches that every time he gets in the ring or takes a bump, it's painful to watch. And I just think it's about time he hangs up his wrestling boots. Because he's either going to get in a match one day and not come out on his own 2 feet, and I want to see him retire on his own steam, not being forced to retire. So I'm going to go with Goldberg.
Yeah. So Rach has picked Goldberg, the Hall of Famer. Jason, Undertaker versus Goldberg. I'd be interested to know your thoughts, because I know you've never been a Goldberg fan, but by the same token, I think you probably think along our lines in that Undertaker is just really needs to back it in.
Okay.
Front.
This may be slightly controversial, but I wouldn't have wanted to see Goldberg versus The Undertaker even 20 years ago. I've never liked Goldberg. Can't stand the guy. Overhyped, overrated. Yeah, he's got 3 moves of doom. Well, he's even got 3 moves of doom. I think he's got 2, hasn't he? The jackhammer and the spear. That's it. That's his moves. Right?
Yeah.
Right? And I was pissed off at him. And all right, it might not be his fault. It's the way he was booked, the way he was written, right? But there were people that he was beating back in WCW, right? Legitimate badasses. He should never have beaten. Never.
Yeah, but it was being pushed as like this. Well, to nick a WWE gimmick, the next big thing.
Yeah, I know.
you can't push someone that hard and then suddenly have him job out to bloody Lord Stephen Regal. Regal was. It's like he was told, or I know you mentioned in the chat the other day, Meng, but Meng is a real life hard ass, but in the context of WCW television programming, like someone who you're pushing to what you've strapped a rocket to, shouldn't make his first job to bloody Meng. I'm sorry,
but
this isn't mixed martial arts or kickboxing or
I understand that.
Real combats. Goldberg is the one being pushed.
But they could have tackled it a different way. Is what I'm saying. Anyway,
this is like 20 years ago, so it's
be that as it may. That's just my opinion. Right. Okay. So this match, this is what we're concentrating on. Yes, I can see where everyone's coming from this. I'm trying to think of the whole point of view of putting people over and stuff. There isn't really any of that there, is there, as such?
Well, there's no history between them
at
all.
And there's neither. Both of them are at their end of their career, so it's not like they're going to go anywhere from this, really. So you can't go from that standpoint. Do you know what? I'm going to go against the grain, sod it. I don't care. I'm going to go with Taker.
Right.
It won't happen. I'm going to go with Taker just for the hell of it, right? Because it's another match that I'm not really that concerned about, right? And if I'm going out my two favourites, that's yeah.
Well, fair enough. I mean, let your heart rule your decision. It could be the right call. Just before I make my prediction, just looking at what Mr. Jam's saying, you don't know if Goldberg can take a Goldberg spear without breaking. Well, yeah, I mean that kind of harks back to what Rach was saying. As for me, God, like I say, I like God. I've never been a massive Goldberg fan, but I like this. I got the character in WCW, and I understand the point of why they did what they did. Whether Jason agrees or not, that will to see the rise of Goldberg every week was quite a spectacle, and it was coming at a time when WCW was starting to put out some pretty lousy programming. But Goldberg and these kind of 1.5 minute, 2 minute matches he was having every week against, initially kind of jobber guys and then lower carders, then mid carders, eventually all the way up to Hollywood Hogan. It was quite. It was a decent. It was a good story that they were telling. Maybe the only really consistently good story they were telling until they fucked it up by having him lose to Kevin Nash at Starrcade. I understand why Jason doesn't like Goldberg. In respect to the fact that he's kind of, he's kind of a 2-move wonder. But a lot of, you could say that about a lot of wrestlers, but like their charisma and things have kind of carried them through. Like Hogan's a prime example. Hogan, I've seen him wrestle some absolutely shitty matches, some really awful stuff. And any good matches he's been in, he's been the one who's been carried by people like Ric Flair, The Rock, etc. And I think Goldberg's kind of that ilk. It's his charisma that I like rather than his actual ability. And Goldberg's kind of raw, almost kind of uncensored, kind of, you can tell he's not someone who's comfortable working off scripts or anything. He kind of, he's speaking from his own, his own head, his own mouth. And that's one of the things I do like about Goldberg and always have done. Yeah, it's a tough one to call. I would have loved to have seen this back in 2002, 2003. Back when both of them could go at a proper level, so especially the Undertaker. We know that Goldberg can still do it now. Well, although he's not had a match since last year's WrestleMania, but I don't want to see the Undertaker in any more matches. but he's going to carry on having them for these big paydays. I'm going to say Goldberg to win, I think. Yeah, Goldberg. It could be either of them, really. But physicality-wise, I think Goldberg is just going to look so dominant against Taker. I just worry what it's going to do to the legacy of Undertaker's character. That's the thing I worry about. You know, you see this guy, this Hall of Famer, this guy who's not exactly a spring chicken himself, spear the dead man in half, and then, yeah, I guess the Undertaker might do his sort of, you know, rising from the dead bit at the end, and he'll get a bit of a pop from the crowd, but it's still Mark Calloway really needs to call it quits now and just go in the Hall of Fame gracefully. But yeah, Goldberg is my pick there. So we've got two more matches left. Let's predict these. Rach, what's the next one you've got?
Well, the next one I got is the Battle Royal, but I don't know all the participants.
Yeah.
So far.
50 of them. Yeah. Pick a number, really. Well, not a number, but pick a number.
I told you in the chat earlier that I was going to go for Matt Riddle because he's rumored to be in one of the 50.
We don't even know all 50. It sounds like there's going to be a mixture of, you know, some NXT guys will be there. Pretty much, you know, every male Raw and SmackDown lower and mid carder who is being flown over, who's not got anything else to do, and maybe even some who might pull double duty like the Usos Revival. It's 50 men, one ring, all 50 starting. I mean, that's just going to be a big bag of nothing to begin with. Vicky, have you got a name for us in this Battle Royal? It is an official match, so we do need to make a prediction on it.
You know what? I don't even know. You're probably going to have NXT guys, like you said, SmackDown guys, Raw guys, you know, 205 Live guys, you know, like you never know who they're going to throw in this match. It's pretty much the whole roster in the locker room is going to be in that ring. I don't know how they're going to do this, but they're obviously maybe get a bigger ring or something like that. But I don't know. Is AJ Styles in a match or Samoa Joe? Are they in a match tomorrow?
No, AJ's not coming over, as far as I know.
I didn't think he was. I would have thought Joe will be coming over, won't he?
So maybe I'm going to say Joe.
Yeah,
because
I mean, this is a good opportunity to kind of, you know, be creative and just pick someone really off the wall, like who you wouldn't expect to win. You know, you just have some fun with it. But yeah, Samoa Joe's a good pick, as good as any, I think. Rach, who are you picking for the 50-man Battle Royal?
Well, I'm going to say Matt Riddle, just because I know he's rumoured to be going in there.
Yeah.
It'd be really random. Just go Matt Riddle.
Actually, that's a point. Like, if Goldberg meets up with Matt Riddle before his match with Taker, and Matt Riddle might end up giving him a good hiding and leave him prone for the Undertaker. Is it actual real? I know Jason would enjoy that, a shoot fight between Riddle and...
I'm not much of a Riddle. I'm not much of a Riddle fan.
We know he's an accomplished mixed martial artist, but also he seems so chill all the time. I don't think he'd be like seeking out Goldberg for a fight backstage in Saudi Arabia. Can you imagine the international repercussions of an incident backstage at Saudi Arabia? Couldn't bear thinking.
Yep.
Yeah, so Matt Riddle says, Rach, fair enough. Jason, just pick a name.
Right, well, I've got two, so I'm going to flip a coin for it just to be different. Right, my two picks. Right, just to be out there, Johnny Gargano.
Okay.
Yeah, and the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne.
All right.
So, if it's heads, we go for Gargano. Tails is what do we call it? Done.
I like Pete Dunne.
And it is tails, so we're going to go for Pete Dunne.
Okay.
There you go. It'll probably be Gargano that bloody wins it now. No, mind that.
Mr. Jam thinks Braun's going to win it. I mean, yeah, he could pull double duty. I mean, it'd be a bit samey to have Braun win this match when he won that 50-man pointless Royal Rumble last year.
Yeah,
I'm going to pick it. Since I seem to pick him for all these sort of things, well, although I've picked him for like Money in the Bank and he didn't win it, I'm just going to pick Drew McIntyre for this, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah,
Yep, I could go with that.
I think Drew McIntyre may be involved in the Roman Shane thing somehow,
Almost
but that
certainly.
doesn't mean he won't also be in the Battle Royal, and it certainly doesn't mean say he also couldn't win it. So yeah, I'm picking Drew McIntyre.
Fair
So
play,
there we
mate.
are. So we have got one more match to go. I don't know if this is going to be the main event. Who knows? It's I think we know what it is, but Rach, you can tell.
Triple H versus Randy Orton.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was it about number 54? Is it?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I was bored with these two wrestling each other 10 years ago, and here we are again. So, yeah. Vicky. Triple H versus Randy Orton.
Okay, well, yeah, I have to agree with you there. This is old, but I mean, we've needed to see a rematch, I think, for a long time, just for the fans. Get it over, get it done with, never happen again type thing. Just as much as the T stuff fighting Triple H in the last one, right? Or at WrestleMania. It's just, I don't know. I'm sick of them putting these wrestlers who are worn out and done in matches like this. Is just silly. But you know what? I think Triple H won at WrestleMania. I would like to see Triple H lose. So, you know, as much as I like him as a wrestler and a person, I think I'm going to have to go for Orton.
Okay. Fair enough. Rach, Triple H versus Randy Orton. The rivalry resumes.
Yeah, it's one of those matches that I'm don't really care about. I've seen it loads and loads and loads of times before. I'm gonna say I think the Viper's gonna do it just because I think he can go a bit more than Triple H can.
Right, so we've got two for the Viper, Randy Orton. Okay, Jason, Triple H versus Randy Orton.
I mean, to be fair to the both of them, I think they're put on a reasonable match. Triple H probably realizes the importance of this as far as Vince is concerned. So he's got to keep Vince sweet. Got to play for his dear daddy-in-law. But no, tough one. Again, it's one that's really not got any sort of bearing on anything.
Well, yeah,
apart from purely to
most of the card.
Yeah,
really.
It's purely to entertain the Saudi fans. Really, something they haven't seen live.
Yeah, it's a marquee match for this, this expanding audience. Yeah.
Oh, crikey. I think I'd go for Randy because I don't think, Randy's still kind of going. Triple H just does the odd random appearance. Yeah. And I don't think you'll have any problems putting Randy over for the sake of the company. So Orton. Yeah, Orton for the win.
Okay. Well, I was going to go with a consensus, but I just feel I fancy being contrary again. And plus, I really don't give a crap about this match. I saw it enough times 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I've got nothing against, I like Triple H. I kind of like Triple H, the businessman, more than I like Triple H, the competitor these days. Randy Orton, I go through phases with him. If sometimes I feel he's phoning it in, and then I get bored with him, and then other times I kind of like what he's doing with his character. So I'm gonna just I'm just gonna go against the grain, and I'm gonna say Triple H to win this one. I think. I mean, Triple H will technically be the baby face in this. So if it's the main event, which I'm not saying it will be, hopefully it won't be, but if it's the main event, then it'll be like a sort of happy ending kind of.
Yeah.
So, Triple H for the win, and I believe that is all the announced matches
That's all
for
the
Super
matches.
Showdown. Like I say, there's a possibility that there's going to be a women's match, but we're going to have to wait and see on that.
Do we want to quick go on that just in case it does take place? Or not include it?
I don't feel comfortable about including possible matches.
Okay, fair enough.
We'll treat it as an impromptu one, and we won't count it if if it happens. So, yeah.
Fair play. Fair play.
So that was our Super Showdown prediction show. Like I say, it kicks off the pre-show 6 p.m. UK time tomorrow night, and then the pay-per-view 7. I can imagine it being a fairly long show. I'll try and sit through it. It's I don't like to complain because it's not often we get like these WWE pay-per-views that are actually on at a time that's decent for us. We normally stay up, from midnight onwards. Like WrestleMania, bloody hell, that finished at like 5 a.m. or something.
5, yeah.
Yeah, so we shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth that way. It's on at a reasonable time for us in Europe at 7 in the evening or 8 in mainland Europe. So yeah, let's look on the bright side and think, it's some WWE to watch on a Friday night. But I can't get massively excited about this show. I'm sorry, I really can't. For numerous reasons. I don't like this Saudi deal. I think it's controversial. But anyway, I want to thank my panelists, Jason, Rach, and Vicky, as always. We will be back. I think it's going to be Saturday, June the 22nd at 8 p.m. UK time for our Stomping Grounds preview.
Sorry.
Get used to that name because that's the name of the next pay-per-view, whether we like it or not. Thank you guys for joining me again on this. Good luck to everyone for their predictions, and of course, hope everybody who's watching tomorrow night enjoys Super Showdown. And thank you again, everybody, for watching, be it live or on the replay. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks or so for the Stomping Grounds preview. I hate saying it, but that's what it's called, Stomping Grounds. Great. Cheers, everyone. We'll see you next time.